this video.
Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka and we are back with another Twitter thread. Today we're talking about cards that were bad and then became good. Cards that got a glow up over the course of Yu-Gi-Oh's history. And I'm beginning with one of my favorites, Terraforming. Despite what's
I agree with this. So I'm drawing a blank here, chat. I was going to say, obviously this was a Twitter thread video. That's most of like, if it's not 10-minute testing, that's like a good portion of his content. I'm drawing a blank here, chat. What set did Terraforming come out in? Like, it feels like a card that should have come out in a core set, but like I'm just drawing a blank to like what core set that is. I'm thinking like I don't even know the era that like maybe it's like a DM card, like Ancient Sanctuary or something. Like, what set did this come in? Field spells were shit into Art V. Not entirely, because like you did have broken cards like Necro Valley, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, for the most part, Arc V is when they like power creeped field spells, because like there were other good field spells. You know, Dragon Ravine got banned. Yeah, Dragon Ravine got banned for Dragon Rulers. Gravekeepers played Necro Valley during 5Ds, but like the level of power got like radically increased during Arc V, to the point where like the field spells were just starters of decks. You know what I mean? Like they weren't starters of decks back in the old days. Gear Town, I think it's in GOAT. What, Terraforming's in GOAT? Really? I don't know. I'm it's rare that I just draw a blank, chat, of like what set a card came out, but I actually just don't know like what set Terraforming came out in. Anyways, I would agree that Terraforming was like, even those old field spell decks didn't play Terraforming.
Some of the individuals in the comments would have you believe this card was not particularly powerful at first release. Its use case was searching Necro Valley, which was admittedly okay in Gravekeeper as the power.
They didn't play that card. They Commandant searches Necro Valley, so
of field spells ramped up, it
That's from
became
Piranha
unbelievably strong. I remember a time when this card was the cornerstone of field spell control, one of the coolest decks in Yu-Gi-Oh's history. At least it was crazy by 2010 when they had Dragon's Ravine. Let's see what you all came up with. Meow says 2009, banish a card until your opponent's next.
Huh. A Pointer of the Red. Yeah, you know what? That's a good one. Banish a card until your opponent's next end phase. What a waste of 2,000. Okay, so you guys want to know the reason why a pointer wasn't good until, what's it called? The same with the equipped. You're talking about a smoke grenade, right? It's because other cards, like other hand ripping cards, existed earlier. Like, yeah, this card came out in 2009, chat, but it's like, well, actually, no, there's two reasons. Number one is like, you couldn't close out games fast enough, chat. You couldn't reliably close out games fast enough with like a multitude of decks that like, as you could in, you know, 2022, 2023. Like, if you pointer your opponent's like main live card and they don't do any plays, every deck in the last 3 years can just kill you, chat. Kashtira can just, what is it? Just Unicorn by itself is like almost an OTK. You know what I mean? Like Unicorn, search like fucking Birth, get Fenrir, search the, you know, I mean, it's like almost an OTK. So like back then, like, I don't know. And also there were other competitor cards, chat. Like the main one I want to think of is Trap Dust Shoot. I think Trap Dust Shoot didn't get banned until like 08, somewhere around that, chat. Actually, hold on. Is freaking Trap Dust Shoot in Edison format, chat? Or am I tripping? I feel like Trap Dust Shoot is in Edison format, is it not? So like, come on, why would you play a pointer where you could just fucking play Trap Dust Shoot and get rid of the card permanently? And there's no life points. It is? Yeah, there you go. Like, that's one of the biggest reasons no one played a pointer is like, Trap fucking Dust Shoot No. If you guys think that Trap Dust Shoot is cancer in Edison, oh my god. You guys should have played Yu-Gi-Oh! At the end of freaking GX when everyone learned about Trap. The one format, chat, I think it was 2007, where every deck played 3 Trap. Like, that format was, oh my god, that was actual cancer, chat. Every deck played 3 Trap Dust Shoot. Actual cancer. Like it was that was like one of the formats where I'm like, I am not enjoying this shit. Every deck playing 3-trap does shoot. Like you go second, like have fun. Your best monster is getting ripped. What's up, Lion Kingdom? Are you my dad? No, good. I'm good. I'm good with that. People think a pointer is better than trap dust shoot. In modern Yu-Gi-Oh, it might be because you can rip like board breakers, but like in totality, it's not. Yeah, in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, if I could take away a card like, I don't know, Dark Ruler No More from your hand, and you just can't break my board, like, yeah, it's probably better.
End phase? What a waste of 2,000 life points. Games last far longer than 3 turns. 2022 to 2023, your best card is gone. A pointer of the Red Lotus was good for a number of reasons, but I think the real stealth reason this card was broken is it gave you perfect information about what your opponent was playing and like what tools they had at their disposal. It's actually crazy it took that long for this card to be seen as broken. I think as early as like 2017, this card was unbelievably powerful. Great answer out of RJ. Surprised to not see deck lockdown on here.
What do you guys? I'm gonna be honest. I think like this card is like, when was this card good? And if you're going to say, oh, Cap, it beat Zephyr, okay, like it hasn't proven to be good now. It's a niche tech. Well, then yeah, that doesn't prove that. Like, I don't know. It still feels kind of terrible to me. Surprise, what's it called? Deck lock. Like when is, for a long time it was just the 4th best side deck card against Glads. Now everyone's worried about it. This isn't even legitimate. This is based on right now. Like this hasn't proven it. So when has Deck Lockdown ever been some like really strong card? Like this one doesn't apply. This is the next. Okay, but that would have to be just because it was played against Zephyr Fox specifically, like Deck Lockdown has never been good.
This card was the epitome of potential man.
No. Hold on. Do you guys want to know why this is on this video? Because MBT personally thinks that this is like a broken card and it's going to be like, it's going to take over the format. And I guarantee you guys, the first week of regionals, when all the decks get posted on YG, no one's going to play this fucking card. I just bought it too. Hold on. It won a top 16 match. Cool. So up a bunch of shitty cards. Yeah. I just bought 3 deck lockdowns. And now I'm like, you know what? This was probably a waste of like $6, chat. So like I feel like to be on this list, you should kind of have like a history of, you know, success.
Side deck card against Glads. Now everybody's worried about it. The reason Deck Lockdown is now receiving scrutiny once again is because, well, they banned everything else. I remember losing to this AGOV format. People started boarding it en masse. I think you're going to see a lot of this card. I think it's going to be not as destructive as something like Summon Limit was, but still pretty strong. And hopefully it will be banned. This wasn't a grenade. It was a ticking time bomb. People love to put
this one. I agree with
the thief, and they are correct. This is meant to be some sort of payoff for a silly little combo, but it turns out if the silly little combo is accessible every single setup, it's super good. Wow, we're like 3 in and we've already done 2 hand drip cards. I wonder,
is System Lockdown broken? Nah, not really. System Lockdown historically it was played a lot in GX because there were, you know, machine decks that were like competitive. But no, System Lockdown's not broken because it only works against it just works against one type. It just only works against machines.
What that means. I wish correct. This card was pennies on release, was in bulk until people started using it competitively, and Dragon Ruler went from 25 cents to $25, the most hated card in the game until its banning. Special Summon Floodgates are a weird kind of card because cards like this and Royal Oppression really did have to hit a sweet spot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Just evolving enough for them to be unbelievable. Went from a 1-for-1 beater to, oops, found this out of my top 5, now I have full combo through Nibiru. This is one of those cards that was benefited by an archetype that supported it in Adamancipator. But it always felt like it theoretically could have been pretty good. You know, in a deck that doesn't need its normal summon, you can slap this down and then you don't lose to Ash. Was so frustrating against Adamancipator because like there were a ton of hands where like you're like, okay, I've opened like Ash plus Nibiru, that should be enough to stop the full end board. Unless they randomly hit Koakai Mairu Guardian, in which case I lose. Super Polymerization required very specific board states to be able to use your opponent's monsters as fusion material, and often required a lot of extra deck planning to play. Now because of Garura and Mud Dragon, you have an 80% of being able to clear your opponent's most troublesome cards, but importantly,
me think. I kind of agree. They're arguing that it's like good now, but I mean, Super Poly was nuts when Shadow came out because like Shadow could fuse with any attribute. You know what I mean? Super Poly versus Voiceless Voice. Oh, so scary.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Also had to evolve to the point where you were just summoning a bunch of monsters and removing them from the field automatically won you the game. When rulers were showing up in Japan, I spent a full day digging these out of my bulk in my mom's basement to sell for $10 a piece at a common. There's an elegant...
See, that's what I would argue. I would have... a better argument would have been Super Poly was not good before Shadows. Before Duelist Alliance. Because, yeah, before Duelist Alliance, chat, it was like... Actually... I think you guys know the only deck I think that played Super Poly, chat? Can anyone name it? The only deck that played before Duelist Alliance. At least the only deck that I remember playing it. Yeah, the only deck that played it was Hero. Because Hero got to the point, chat, just like Shadows, where Hero had, they had a hero for every attribute. So it was just like, you know, we could always just Super Poly your shit. It was very similar to Shadows. But like, that's the only deck I ever remember playing Super Poly. I guess it was very similar to the anime, was Hero.
To rulers, but Rejuve can't be a part of it. This is a strange one because it absolutely required like a master rule change, but as soon as it became profitable to just have tokens on your side of the field, yeah, this was a problem. No once per turn, bounce it with a Kashik, summon it again. God, who remembers this? There's a whole parade of literally who cards that no one ever thought about twice until a branded player decided to expulsion or sanctify the card onto their field. I will push back on this a little bit insofar as it wasn't branded players' fault that these cards got discovered. People have been experimenting with donating to your opponent since, well, the card Donate got printed in Magic the Gathering. We've given them enough Nightmare Iblis.
I will never, ever, ever have to donate to that charity because he will never be able to get through a video without mentioning Magic.
To understand that giving a bad monster is good. But it wasn't until a very specific deck in Duel Links that would go through a convoluted combo to give your opponent a copy of Ra's Disciple was discovered that people started thinking, wow, some of these self-floodgates have unintended consequences. One unfortunate part of making these threads is getting to experience the linear passage of time as it occurs. People posting Divine Sword Phoenix Blade makes me realize some of you started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2016. So yes, Divine Sword Phoenix Blade was broke.
There's something about infinite recurring equip spells. To be fair, ISO is probably the problem here. Yeah, this card was a staple in Diamond Dude Turbo. So yeah. This is why, like, I don't know, chat. Should I, as a boomer, get mad when I see posts like this? MBT's talking about it. He's like, yeah, you started in 2007, like. This card was played a decade before that. In like every single Diamond Dude, you couldn't even play Diamond Dude without playing. They play a multiple Phoenix Blades, chat, because you could dump it in the grate, you could hit it off of Monster Gate or Reasoning. If you happen to draw it, you could just discard it from Lightning Vortex or Magical Stone Excavation. It's like this card was played a ton in GX. It was broken then. Like, yeah, they could have honestly banned this card in like 2007. Damn. No, I'm just saying, like, what's it called? Reminder, not to click off the video because of when the credits come in. Okay.
And you're probably thinking about it in the context of Isold, where it would be sent to the graveyard and then be nigh infinite material for whatever discard outlet you want, or maybe some sort of Goki setup. But prior to that, it was broken in a lot of silly YouTube FTKs that looped Primal Seed. And prior to that, in the beautiful year of 2007, was Airblade Turbo.
There you go.
This card has been broken longer than a lot of you have been alive.
Yeah, it's the same deal as Malicious, chat. These Warrior cards, like, these cards aren't just broken now. Like, they were broken way back in GX when, like, everybody was playing Heroes.
Instant Fusion on release was not really played at all. With the ability of hindsight, we can see that, like, yeah, there are some formats where...
What card is this set from? This can't be a Cyber Dark Impact card. But, like, I don't think anyone did anything with Instant Fusion, because I think when this card came out, they were just fusions, and Thousand Eyes Restrict was banned. It is Cyber Dark. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this is a Cyber Dark Impact card, chat, and there was like if Thousand Eyes Restrict had been legal This card actually this card would have been probably banned because the whole like summoning Thousand Eye Strict, suck up a monster, tribute for a mana, like that would have been busted in GX. But yeah, there was like nothing you could do with this card when it came out, chat. It's like nothing.
It's pretty good just as a mechanism to get either tribute material or 5-star monsters on your side of the field to facilitate like 8-star synchros really early. But as more fusion monsters were released, this changed from, oh, it's like half of a 2-card setup to this card is not only full combo on its own, it is full combo through 8 billion points of interaction. Thousand Eyes Restrict was already banned when this was released, and hilariously, I remember the first thing people trying to do when it got unbanned was get it off Instant Fusion. People were playing Instant Fusion as a removal spell after Thousand Eyes Restrict was unbanned. Wave of Light is considered to be one of the worst structures we've ever received, but it did contain a card that would in 3 years' time make Herald Drytron a contender. You know what's funny about this card? All of the cards that it searched were like around, right? Like, oh god, get a couple of Herald of the Orange Lights. Like, you were, you can do that.
Is Ava still banned, chat? You guys know how I feel about the, like, I don't believe Ava should have been banned. I'm not a fan of that ban. But like, is Ava still banned? It is? Still not a fan of that ban.
This isn't a bad one. Given how bad the fusion mechanic was, fusion monsters and polymerization, it's a miracle that Konami was able to support it to the point where Poly still sees play in competitive strategies today. Yeah, this is a card that does nothing. It just reads minus yourself. And somehow it is still a top tier playable card in a number of strategies, and has been for years. Though it helps that all the fusions are just crazy. Convulsion of Nature was always a meme in my play group until Spirals came out and made it viable. You know what? I think you can, this part right here, at the time, you could just get that out of there. One of the very few upsides to Yu-Gi-Oh's non-rotating format is that some of these cards do get a second lease on life. And it's cool to see what we thought was bad years ago be dominating in metagames afterwards. Now, I hope I never have to read any of your just obviously incorrect posts again.
There's almost 2 minutes left in the video. Where's the rest of the video?
This card was never bad. This card was broken immediately. People were trying to break this the second it came out. Another one of these answers. Dog, what are you talking about? Written by someone born in 2014. No, people were playing this card too. She was not a completely useless card. Guru decks played this forever. What are the best possible things you could rank up a spent Dante into? Real heads know we were playing Lullaby of Obedience, calling Dino Wrestler Pankratops every single Hulk tuner. Yeah, I mean, when would Glow Up Bulb ever be good? This was the...
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Real heads know we were playing Lullaby of Obedience, calling Dino Wrestler Pankratops every single...
This card got banned in 2011. No, actually, I'm sorry. It was the March 2012 ban list, chat, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this card got banned like 5 years before they ever made Hulk. The only card on here that like never saw play was probably Olion, but like these cards saw play, especially this one.
Hulk tuner. Yeah, I mean, when would Glow Up Bulb ever be good? This was the most hyped card that released in the same year as every single Gumblar combo deck. Chat, Mari Mare wasn't some card we discovered in bulk. It was printed in Inoff. Like, Yazi had been out for years by the time we got this card. It was so crazy on release, there's no way. Who can remember the insane got this card? It was so...
I don't know if it's an actual glow up, but I remember a time when Call by the Grave was just a side deck card. I don't know the reason why, especially when it was... What? Was this card not like crazy the second it came out? Like I remember once people like understood this card, they were like, holy shit, this card changes the game. Hand traps are going to be killed. I remember when Cap thought this card... Did I? Or was that just John Moore? No. I feel like I said it was okay. I will say this. I definitely, chat, I said that Infinite Impermanence was like mid. I did say that. I do remember saying like Infinite Impermanence is like, yeah, it's pretty much just a shittier version of Effect Veiler. Why would you play that over Veiler? Just don't play it. But I feel like I was like, this card is okay. Yeah. That shit at 3 was... Is that 2 in the OCG?
crazy on release. There's no way.
Yeah, this card looks
Who
crazy.
can remember the insanely mid-card Makiora the Destructor, the Day Zero FTK? They're in the same structure as the rest of the fucking Chaos Dragon cards. Bah! Are you of the opinion structure as the rest of the fucking Chaos Dragon cards? Bah!
Nothing is allowed for the world. This is... I don't understand. Like, chat, are half of these people like trolling? You know what I mean? Like, this is why it's like sometimes I don't know. It's like, are the people who tweet this stuff like real people, or are they just like trolling? You know what I mean? Like, Baron DeFleur was broken the second she fucking came out, chat. This bitch saw play for 5 straight years. Like, what? There literally hasn't been a format where she's been bad. Not even tier format because they summoned her. These are the people Dolan wants you to care about. Red Z. Exactly. These are the people that Dolan wants me to care about. Anyways. They're all 12 or, yeah, I mean, so, like, some of these, these have to be, like, tenured. These have to be Dragon Duel players, right? Like, I mean, I get it when Baron, if you're 12 years old and Baron came out 5 years ago, then you were, like, fucking 7. You know what I mean? So you have like no concept of anything because you're 7 years old. Like, Baron's been played in every single format, chat. There hasn't been one where she was bad. Kashtira has played Baron. Dragon played Baron. Manadium. Like, this bitch has been super heavy Sam. She's been in so many decks that she shouldn't have been in. Kashtira is like the biggest example. It's a deck with no tuners and it's an Exceed deck. And like, they still fucking play her.
Are you of the
Or people who start... Well, I mean, if you just started playing this year, like, why do you even have an opinion?
opinion that this card was ever bad? You're gonna tell me Scapegoat wasn't ever good?
There's an entire format named after Scapegoat, by the way. It's called Goat format. During Chaos... Wait, what? Hold on. During Chaos Dragons format, this card was basically Painful Choice for Dragon/Chaos by revealing 5-hit and then proceeded to get banned. 1 or 2 lists later, might have been limited. Prior to that, it was. But I don't think it was powerful or had much utility. People just don't know Yu-Gi-Oh! There was a deck called Chimera Tech Over Dragon OTK. It won a Shonen Jump in Orlando, Florida. Like, you literally needed this card to do the OTK. Future Fusion, Overload Fusion. 2-card OTK. And even beyond that, chat, people played it in Heroes too. People just
came to us limited. Signet mining was immediately broken. A joke played for the free material. This was like one of the best trap cards of all time for like a decade.
That's also true.
Not true. Wow. This is just literally not true. Are you of the opinion that
That's
Dandelion was a bad card before Link's?
Dandelion was one of the most hyped. So people might not know this, chat. Dandelion was one of the most like hype cards ever. Because it's one of those cards that like we in the TCG we saw like what the card can do. This is before, you know, Jeff Jones got his hand on it. But that's one of the cards I remember, chat. Like back from those days where people were like, "Oh my god, this card is absolutely gonna like break." It's like the level of like the gadgets, chat. It's kind of hard to convey it because like maybe it's not. I'm trying to think of like the last card or deck that we had in the that is at like insane hype and like lived up to it, chat. I mean, I guess maybe fire, maybe like the fire decks. I miss Dandelion. Might be cooking with Level Eater. What's up, PBB? How are you doing tonight? Yeah, the Chimera Tech, that's like the main deck people might remember Future Fusion for. What's up, Flax? Dandelion was GX era. That's what it was. Yeah, Dandelion was like GX era in the OCG. But it's like kind of like Gores, 5Ds for TCG, GX for the OCG. Predates Synchros and was good before then. Remember when cards would go 3 to 5 years without a reprint? Yeah, I do.
Summoning. Okay. I don't know if I can do this, man. I don't think I can finish this one out. I feel like I'm losing my fucking marbles here.